work for GameStop. I worked the midnight launch last night, and I can tell you it was kind of hectic. A lot of people were waiting in line, a lot of people were doing a bunch of other stuff. So, today we are going to be unboxing my Nintendo Switch 2. Just so all of you are aware, I do work for the company. Doesn't necessarily mean I was guaranteed a system, but luckily my location only had 4 employees at the time, and we were allowed to have half of the employees pre-order. So, got lucky on that happening. So I have in front of you a original Switch. They call this the core model. This is not the Mario Kart edition. I am someone who prefers hard copies of games over digital downloads. If I don't have a choice, I will buy it as a digital download, but there's more money in it the other way. So this is the original system. This one goes for $449 US, and we're going to flip it over and open it up. Now, prior to today, I have seen leaks and information about what is in this box, but personally, I have not gone through said box before. So, as normal, in tradition, you have your tablet portion on the top, you have your Joy-Cons off to the side. I do have with me my Switch OLED model, so that as we go through this, you can see as they compare to each other in terms of shape and in terms of size. So this is my OLED. Now I have limited edition Joy-Cons. These are from Skyward Sword. It is an OLED model. You can tell from the stand. You can also tell from the serial number that I have an OLED. So as we go through this video, I will be comparing everything I do to my OLED model so you guys can see firsthand where the upgrades are, what has changed, and all that fun stuff. So just gonna sit this guy off to the side as we go through and unbox. Beautiful screen. Just looking around it real quick before we do anything else. Joy-Con insert, Joy-Con insert. This appears to be our stand. Quite nice. Better place for the serial number. SD card. We'll get to that in a moment because I don't have the one I pre-ordered due to some technicalities. Power, volume, USB-C on the top, headphone jack, and let's say our new and improved game slot. Yep. So this is not something that's normally on a Switch. I'm gonna place it down real quick, show you what the OLED looks like. You have a USB-C on the bottom. Apologies, I have cats, so you might hear them argue in the background. SD card slot was here. You go on the top. Game card slot was just an open where you had to pop it out. This is a full, secure, better looking game slot. Volume and power. Headphone, but no USB-C. So, beautiful, beautiful. So I was told there's a protected film on it. I can loosely see it around the edges. My OLED had the same film. If you peel it off, it actually will cause your system to break upon impact. The protective film is designed to absorb or use what they call shock absorbance. So, Joy-Cons. Taking off my other ones. So in my left hand, is your Joy-Cons for the original Switch OLED, and my right hand is your Joy-Cons for the new Switch. Now, when you look at them on my table, the bottom screen is what they call the Switch 2. The top screen is what they call the OLED model. So, Joy-Cons theoretically go on either side. These guys would go on either side. That gives you a general structure of how this system works. Okay. So on the bottom of the box, on the top, there's a compartment. The compartment contains HDMI, which we will set up later, and our two joy straps. I am someone who keeps all of my stuff together. So I'm not personally someone who uses a piece like this, but essentially what this is that you would be able to attach. I'm not attaching them at the moment, but I'm just demonstrating. Now that is a much easier way to function. They are on there. I love the silicone bases. Now I'm personally going to get what they call caps, which are covers that go over top of the joysticks. They have caps for the same colors as the bottom, so I'm going to make them in unison. That will be shown at a later video. But yes, that magnet is pretty well on there. Pretty simple to remove. So on the back, this trigger button, you're going to pull the trigger button, Joy-Con comes off. In the past, the trigger buttons on the OLED are these tiny little dots. The trigger buttons on the Switch 2 are actual triggers. Now, you gotta be careful when you're playing a game to not use said trigger buttons to disconnect your controller. A lot of us who play using PlayStation or Xbox love our back paddle buttons. So, word of caution, be careful. So, looks like we went power cord and block or cube. Smart deal for Nintendo. These things are expensive, so good job Nintendo for separating the cord. The OLED model was a cord directly to the brick that plugged into the wall. Nintendo is making it more simplified. So you have your brick, which you can buy extra of. You have your cable. So, trying not to get my stuff dirty. So, this, one of these sides will go into here. One of these sides will go into the system. Now it can go on the system either on the bottom or on the top. Now the reason why the top one was added this time around was for the camera, which we will open in just a moment. Also inside the box, we have the new and improved dock. I will be setting this up later. So here is the Nintendo Switch dock, your indicator that it's working to the television. We flip it around. They do a very good job hiding all of the pieces. So we're gonna pop the plate off, sit that down, rotate it. You have your USB-C for power, you have your HDMI for your television, and you have your Ethernet to plug it in directly into the internet. Just looking around on the dock, we have two USB ports, which we had on the old dock as well. So if I had to guess, I want to say the fan, based off how this is designed, is probably loosely in here. It also could be at the bottom. Based off the little dots, I can tell from the bottom, I want to say it's somewhere in this range. It's a very nice and improved dock. Looking down the center, looks like it will latch in pretty efficiently. So for the video purposes, I will be putting the dock back in the box, and I will handle this setup at a later date. Don't you love it when you take things out of boxes and it's hard to put them back in? Okay, so I'm going to put my plug away. I'm going to put the cable away. I'm going to put the HDMI back where I found it. Oh, made a technical error. Let me put the plate back on it. I am doing this live. This has not been rehearsed. Last night I didn't get home from work from GameStop's midnight launch until 2:30 in the morning. We kicked people out at 11:30. Had to close the store for about 20 minutes to a half an hour so we could assemble everyone's bundle kit that they bought. Definitely tell you it was a chaotic madhouse. I had a coworker return to come and help us out. Like I said, apparently I can't put stuff back. Got it. Not going back in the box. I'm not gonna force it in there. I may have to. So, Joy-Con strap 1. Joy-Con strap 2. Seal the box. Force it closed a little bit. Sit in the background of our video. So we're gonna add the straps to the Joy-Cons. So from what I read online, you're gonna take the plus sign, match with the plus sign, go on the top. Actually, it looks like it'll be easier going from the bottom to the top. Now, the reason why I bought a Nintendo Switch 2, it's okay if you laugh at me, mainly has to do with the fact that I wanted the mouse controls. Now, the mouse controls have been talked about for a very long time. Whether or not Nintendo was going to do it was a whole different story. Put my wrist straps on. Hold the Joy-Cons. So essentially, mouse controls use the top button as A. So if you're driving, steering, moving, clicking, there's a game that's a download only called Mouseworks that I will be purchasing. Mouseworks would allow me to interact with the mouse controls. Now, I have plans, don't know when, to get a second, if not 2 more sets of Joy-Cons. The reason being is I have friends that come on over, and I want my friends to feel like they can have a full-fledged experience. So just like you can disconnecting anything, you can just click the button and they come right off. So, fun part, let's get into the switch. Click. Click. Pretty sturdy. Let's turn it on. Okay, time to walk through. We are English US. We are located in the Americans. We are agreeing to the user agreement. I am not going to break this. This is quite pricey. Now, because I understand the world of development, I am going to give them permission to modify, to make edits. So, my home network. I do like how it moves. So, I am connected. Started the update. Now I live in same time zone as New York. Wants me to learn how this all works. Now this is not new. Nintendo has always had it done this way. We're on the Connect to TV, which we will handle later. Reason why my other system's here is I am moving files over. So we're going to skip this because we did this first where we were connecting things. So you have three options: connected, like this, or docked to the television. So this is updating the system. Just waiting at this point. System is updated. Interesting. When you put the Joy-Cons down, they temporarily turn off. That is pretty clever. Alright, so the answer is yes, we're going to start system transfers. So here's the fun part. So I'll let you in on what happened yesterday. So like I said earlier in the video, I work at GameStop. So I prepaid for a 1 terabyte external express card. What ended up happening is there were 4 pre-orders for the same 1 terabyte. There was 1 pre-order for the 512 and 6 pre-orders for the 256. When all the SD cards showed up, we got less than what we were told. So the 1 terabyte, we had 4 pre-orders, but only 2 came in. We had 1 pre-order for the 512, but we got 3 in stock. And then we had about 20 of these. We had 7 pre-ordered, so about 20. Interestingly enough, one of the 1 terabytes, one of the 4 pre-orders picked it up. I was a second pre-order. Another customer nicknamed Ziggy was a third pre-order. The 4th one did not show up last night. And I believe everyone got a phone call last week when we found out that not all the cards were going to be here and that there was going to be some technicalities. Everyone was okay with waiting. So the 512 that was pre-ordered was put aside. The 2 additional 512s were sold. So when my 1 terabyte was sitting on my box, my pile, they packed up all my stuff last. We still had to separate everybody's product. It was your Switch on the bottom, all your accessories on top, your receipt on top of that. It sat on the floor, but all of your stuff was there. The frustrating part of said events is that I had to give up my 1 terabyte. I had to return it on paper because the 1 terabyte that was prepaid for the person who picked it up was not in their bag. So we were -1. I had to surrender my 1 terabyte to give it to said person, and they refunded me. Now, once we get the 1 terabyte back in stock, I can do a full return on this, even though I'm going to use it. I also told them I don't mind keeping said card, but they are going to make sure that I acquire a card tonight, which was last night, so here I am. I'm going to open said card, take it out. Now, a card like this at GameStop was $60. The one I prepaid for is $190. But because of the circumstances that happened, I was able to get the Pro controller because of the circumstances. So I'm going to take out this card. I'm going to insert it into the SD card slot. And then I'm going to follow the prompt. So the card. Yep. So while that's updating, I'm going to go on to my OLED model. Assuming its battery is still okay. Yep, we're still at 93%. And we're going to do system transfer. I like it how when you put the Joy-Cons down, they disconnect from the system, which means you're preserving the battery. So SD card can now be used because I insert it. Sign into Nintendo. This is going to be fun. The best part is I have my tablet nearby because my phone is the one that's going live. So we are going to use my tablet to sign in. Because I am clever. Fun. My phone has what I need. I'm still live. Apologies on the shakiness. I had to use my tablet to get what I needed out of it. 8, 7, 8, do, nope, 0. Tablet can go back to being what it was doing, off to the side. I can go back. Yes. So just so everyone knows, I have more than one account and I have more than one. Okay, so it needs to be connected to power. Alright, easy fix. Outlet right below me. Opening the box again. Luckily, power is only under one piece. 1, 2. No, that's not gonna fit. You all know the rules. Once you take something out of the box, it's really hard to put back in the box. Same way it came out. I will figure it out. It will all go back in. That piece won't live in the box, so like I said, for image purposes, we're leaving it there. Quite excited. I get to play with my new toy. Alright, plug it into power on my extension cord. My stupid friends can't put stuff away correctly. So, other benefit is I'm going to put it at the top for this instead of on the bottom because I'm using its wonderful. That's leaking. And I'm using it. So, alright, source, move this system closer together. They are closer together. So we're going to follow instructions. So do this on the source system, which is this guy. Now, a lot of you are like, well, you have a lot of stuff. Yeah, I'm aware of that. In case any of you wanted to know, I do own between physical and digital copies of games. I do own 389 titles. There will be a separate video where I will play each and every one of these titles so that you can see what my library looks like, how to play the game, and make a decision if you want to buy it as well. I have some pretty cool games in here. Okay, we are going all the way down to system. We are going to system transfer. System transfer. Next. Where it is nearby. And it's doing its update. I'm going to step away. Server issue. Let's see what the server issue is. There should not be a server issue. They're both connected to the same Wi-Fi, so this is me. We're going to ask it why it's not moving. Now there is another way to move it, which is just 10 times longer. The whole point is to move everything to the cloud and then bounce it back over. If I do it the alternative way, it's gonna take hours. And for some of you, no, I am not planning on making my switch to start over with all of my game files. Some people's like, oh, you can just start over, it'll be fine. Nope, work too hard. Want to put everything on the bigger screen, preferably. But we're waiting on the server. It said there was an error. While it spins, I'm gonna go wash my hands because I moved something that was leaking. I'm gonna be right back. Alright, so another error. Not able to connect to Nintendo. Fun. We're gonna try this again. Next. Like I said, worst case scenario, there is an alternative. Just would take longer and I would probably not do it on screen. Just because it would be taking so long. Alright, we're going to go on the main system. We're going to do troubleshoot. Make sure you're signed into the same Nintendo account on both systems, which they are. They are close together. Update the source system if you can't find the system transfer options. Keep playing. Some Nintendo games may not be supported or fully compatible. My cat is nearby. He may appear on screen, just so you know. Bruce. Your sniffer. Keep walking. Well, he's not on camera, which is ideal. But if he does something, he will get yelled at and be on camera. I have a cat with special needs who needs to constantly be around me. That's what he is. Now, the only other thing that could make this technicality happen would be that core system, which is mine, is gonna need an update. No, nothing is wrong with my console. I can rest assured that too. So this is what I mean. My SD card is practically full. So is my internal. Part of the reason why I did what I did to this console has a lot to do with the fact that I didn't want to do it again on this one, which is putting every single cartridge in and to hit download. For any of you who have not seen my Nintendo library while I'm trying to figure out why A and B aren't working, my entire library lives into containers that look like this. It's quite nice. Each one of these will hold 96 games in it, so it gives you at least a understanding. I'm going to see if this needs an update. Nope, it's up to date. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea why it's not Now the only other logical explanation is this isn't connected to power. But we are on the same account. I'm gonna go back. We probably will do this second. I can always do this. I hate doing this again. I'm gonna probably do the moving second, just because we're running into some issues. Could depend on a lot of factors. Sign in, fingerprint. Once again, camera will be shaky. My apologies. I am being honest when I said, hey, I'm trying to connect it. It's not working. That's fine, Cal. I'll see you soon. Wow, it won't let me move forward. Alright, well, we're gonna go back. We're not gonna transfer right now. We are gonna sign into the account. We're not gonna transfer. I'll sign into the account first. Apologies once again. I have to keep playing around with this. Sign into this account. Yep, that is me. I said I have more than one account. We're doing one account today. So I want to add the other user? Not today. Skip rentals. Go home. Yeah. So it is going to, here we are, controls, recognizing my two. Nintendo Switch Online, just me. Best part of the download, GameCube. Re-download. Next. Once again, asking me another fun question. This is the downside of being live on a mobile device. Now, I wish I went live on my tablet, because everything is on my phone. But Nintendo is being Nintendo. Log in. Enter ID. Okay. Google Authenticator. No, we're still going. So now we are manually waiting for this to be done. While we are waiting, since System A and System B are talking to each other, I thought it would be a good idea to show you guys my gaming library. So these are all magnetic cases. While we're running through the gaming library, I do have 3 new games that I will be adding to my library. I have Bravely Default Flying Fairy, I have Mario Kart World, And then I have Guardians of Azuma Rune Factory. So while we're waiting for everything to work, we are going to be adding my new titles to my carrying case. The best part about this case is A, it's magnetic, B, I have 3 of them, and C, I can put all of my boxes on display. So if you guys like coming over and ever want to see my display, I will probably do it in a future video showing off where all of my cool fancy toys live, because to me that's fun and exciting. So Bravely Default 2. I set the box off to the side. I will explain what key cards are in a moment. They're not as bad as everyone thinks they are. And there's a cool. So, was not expecting this. My Rune Factory Switch 2 edition gives me a Nintendo Switch game with a Switch 2 upgrade pack. It also gave me this little booklet. Which looks like it's a bunch of cool things about different people, different places, how to build bonds, enemies, weapons. Looks like an in-game calendar. And that's nice. Nintendo used to be very good at booklets. Excuse me. Alright, so what's the difference between, and I'm going to get this a question a lot, and that's going to be okay. So what's the difference between a game key card and a regular game? So visually, a key card is going to have a key in the corner. So best way for me to explain this to someone who does not know what I'm talking about. In the PS5, you have the ability to put in a PS4 disc. If you put in that PS4 disc, some cases it will give you a PS5 equivalent for free. Now, to play the PS5 version of the PS4 game, you still have to put in the PS4 disc. Game key cards are the same thing. So it's not a digital game. It's not a box where we hand you a code, you type in the code, you can't trade it. They wanted to make games still tradable. So a key card means you put it in your system, it downloads the game, but you need the cartridge to play it. Pretty clever for Nintendo, taking one out of someone else's book. So, not judging, just wanted to let you guys know what that was. So, Bravely Default, probably going here or here, depending on, I am working on collecting all of the games. So every game's slot that's empty is a game that's on my wish list to purchase or has been pre-ordered already. Now, I may one day decide to share said pre-order list with my fan base, where I would give you guys an opportunity to send me games if that is something you so desire in the future. So right now, you can see I have quite a bit of games. Now these empty spots are mostly Dragon Quest. These guys are all Final Fantasy. Mostly. Cat hair. The wonderful cats are being children. So we need M, so we're in H, and then at the bottom, I am missing some Zelda, I am missing some Kirby, all this fun stuff. So we need to, so this is pretty much A through L. My middle container, like I said, I have 3 of these containers. My library is pretty huge. So we have Mario Kart. Now I'm just gonna open this, pop this guy out. This is Smash, which means Mario Kart is in my personal belongings. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe goes there, which means Mario Kart World goes next door. My cat is back. Flip it open. I got some more stuff, wonderful stuff in here. It's silicone based, so that's why there's cat hair in a couple places. I'm OCD a little bit, so my apologies. You got new Pokemon game when it comes out, that's where it goes. Smash Brothers is in the other box. Okay, these are the Sonic games I'm missing. But Rune Factory will be in here, so let's take our cartridge, go back to R, O, P, Q, R, Rune Factory. Did I not put under Rune Factory? It might have been my fault. I'm gonna bump these 2 over, because Rune Factories are U, so it lives there. I'm gonna see what lives between here, because if that's the case, everyone has to get bumped 1 over. Lots and lots of games. Which means Smash is going to live in my final box. If I remember correctly, it's the first one. So, it looks like, as sucky ducky as it's gonna look, I have to do all the work I did on here in the last week. I need to put on there. Which, not gonna lie, is gonna suck. So I need 3 titles. So we're gonna do, say, cloud data. Not on the system. See what's missing. Now there's a couple ways I can download it. Most of my games are hard copies, which means I gotta pop it in, update the file, go through all that stuff. That's what it looks like we're gonna have to do. back into the store. As much as I hate doing this, this is what we're doing. Fun. More stuff I don't like to do. I can't remember how much Nintendo is going to make me do this. So. I confirmed myself. Go in. I need to go into my account. It's membership. It's pre-order. I do have a game that I bought. I need to do that. Okay, that's what the whole point of virtual cards are. Okay. So I'm learning how virtual cards work. And this one, wonderful. Now, if I'm lucky, all of my games that I physically have on Switch 1 should be here. Okay, they're not all here. This system, virtual game cartridge for Adelaide, Link. So this allows me to wirelessly send information from one system to another. I want to load. I'm going to assume the ones that are sideways. Essentially, I want all of my games to freely float between the two. It's like I can only move 30 at a time. That's quick. Copy. Oh, that's gonna be fun. Load software. So this is everything I own digitally. Just in case anyone was curious. Now the digital stuff are Scarlet and Violet's updates. Anytime you see the cartridge outlined in clear versus being blue, blue is a full download. Clear outline means there's added content. There will be a separate event that I will do where I will play each one of these games in real time so you can see what it looks like and see how it works. Okay, so while the system's doing its wonderful fun download, we're going to take apart my accessories. I'm gonna go grab a knife. I will be right back. Sorry for the video being an hour. Mostly what has happened is technical difficulties out of my control. I am still able to move stuff over. I'm just doing it the old school, old-fashioned way. Can't explain to you why. That's okay. So I'm one of the few people at my GameStop location that actually pre-ordered the camera. I am a YouTube streamer. New and upcoming. I want to have all of the accessories that come with anything from the get-go. If you've ever seen me in person, you know that I am the best party house there is because I have all of the added accessories, extra controllers. I go out of my way. Now, a lot of people are like, why? But you have plenty of Joy-Cons. You're right, I do. But I might have more than one set of the magnetic ones. I am also I'm one of those people out there that love to collect different colors. I have all my stuff mounted. It's pretty cool. But right now we're stationary with my ring light, which is what I'm doing. So, just putting things off to the side. So that all of you can see how magically wonderful some of these pieces are. So, camera. So this is the Nintendo Switch camera. This is their piece. Now I can tell you there's a bit of weight to this. The stem is metal. We're just leaving the console alone for the moment, mainly for the fact it's doing an update, and my other one also is doing an update. So, just so we're not accidentally bumping into anything, I'm going to reattach the Joy-Cons back to the console and leaving it like that. So, at the bottom of the camera, when we flip it upside down, at the bottom of the head, there's a port. One end of the USB-C port connects to the camera, just as so. They provide you with this grabber at the bottom, so you can have your cord totally out of the way when you're looking at it. You can tell it's connected, but they made the pole thick enough that when the cord lays against it, you can't tell. So, great piece. From what I was told, this has a microphone, which I can tell from here. That little gray dot inside of this wonderful black circle is probably your microphone, and that is probably your camera. If I had to guess from the camera is off or closed. Rotate it, you can open it. So if you're using the camera and you don't want to see people, you just rotate it to white, open it that way. The other end of the camera connects to the USB-C. Mostly designed for the top of the system, but because of how I have my system docked at the moment, I am not going to attach it to set it up this right now. But when we do it with the docking video, which will be a whole another video of setting it up to my TV, we will do it then. So I would set this off to the side and move on to our next project. So far in this 1 hour, we connected and set up my Switch 2. We are in the process of moving files from my OLED to my Switch. We ran into several technical difficulties, and we just unboxed the camera. So next thing I'm going to do is my Pro controller. Now, from earlier in the video, I did say this was not planned. I have 2 limited edition Pro controllers. One from Super Smash Brothers, the other one from Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This was an impulse buy for someone like me. But because I couldn't wait for my SD card again, they had to refund me my money. A part of said refund, I got a basic card for myself. And I decided to get the Pro controller. Now, I am someone who may or may not damage things over time, but I do have friends that are a little passive aggressive when it comes to my controllers. So I will highly, highly encourage a warranty on any hardware you are purchasing. So USB-C to USB-A cable. This appears to be our wonderfully wrapped Pro controller. Now, for this video, I do not have my current Pro controller handy. So we will handle that at a later time. But I am going to be leaving my cord in the bag. I'm going to be putting the cord back in the box, putting the box back inside its original host box. So, Pro controller. I can definitely tell you from the feel, it is a very slick feel on the back. I was expecting some kind of texture grip compared to an Xbox or a PlayStation controller, so this is a pretty slick feel. I can move my hands comfortably. How I've always looked at controllers is putting my 2 thumbs straight up in the middle. If my thumbs exceed the controller is too small for me. Looks like a comfortable fit because this is default mode for me. So I can move the stick, I can move the stick. My buttons are pretty big, so I do appreciate, good job Nintendo, on making the buttons bigger. Now if you were to compare this to another controller, which I don't have in front of me at the moment, PlayStation and Xbox do not have these big buttons. So D-pad is a traditional D-pad. C is the chat. Below the C button is your headphone jack. I find that Nintendo did a great job by putting the jack directly on the controller. So if I want to put up my headset to it, I can do so from down here. You're not doing games here. We are going to do controller. So we're going to pair this. Search for controller. I'm going to press and hold the pairing button. You're looking for it. Change grip order. There it is. So, quick, easy find. I also like when the controller, it tells you the system. So it shows you my 2 Joy-Cons on the side are still charging. They're not at full green. This one tells you it's at full charge, and it tells you that the console is charging on and powered. So I do like that. That is pretty cool. Go down to use the buttons. These are the ones at the back of here. They are down here. So we're gonna hit next, next, next. How to use mouse controls. for the mouse control, I'm going to take one off. As the video instated, we're going to put the bottom piece on it. Pop it on. For all safety purposes, please put on your wrist strap. Tighten your wrist strap to a comfortable level to where the extra is not hanging. And do as such. Click. Top button is going to be, that's pretty cool. So what I'm using is the Joy-Con, is your up and down scrolling. Only when it's on the surface. Up, down. Click. So I can use this to target balloons, which is pretty cool. Now, just so everyone's aware, this is reason why I bought the Switch. It's for the mouse ball. Okay. This is so cool. I'm using the mouse to run around. Alright, so just to show you how cool this is, we're going to go to the store. Click on me. I do have a game to download. I own this, so that is something I do own. Scroll down. This is so cool. Not gonna lie, this is pretty dope. Not a fan of the word, but dope. So there's a game. Yes. I think it's Mouseworks is the name of the game. Nintendo, you are clever. This is pretty cool. Mousetrap. Oh, that's old school. That's expensive. Why is it? Oh, because oh no. Still learning how to use it, but Mousetrap, one of my favorite games of all time. I'm going to add it to my wish list. And we'll handle it at a later date. So there's a new game, multiplayer. Guess it's not out yet. If I go back, it might be in the coming soon category. Possibly. So it's called Mouseworks. It's essentially the ability to... No. This isn't it. I like sushi games. It's gonna be interesting. Not gonna lie, this is pretty cool. The fact that it's practically a mouse. Now, there is an accessory that will be coming out soon that I do have pre-ordered, where it enables the mouse to have a better bottom function, and that is something I am very much looking forward to. Okay. And then this is just for the aesthetic. Mario Kart is never the same without a physical steering wheel, and I do have friends that insist on having the steering wheels. I love everything color coded, so I am very happy about that. So, we have the orange mouse. I'm going to handle the orange one first. So this is the accessory. Salmon, orange, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to disconnect the branch. And we're going to pop it in here. Oh, that went in. Pretty simple, without ease. So Joy-Con still works up and down, but this is a nice steering wheel. Nice hold, nice grip. So I am very happy with how Nintendo has made their products. We're gonna pop off releasing that tab. Put it in its respected. So all I did was just pop it in. Now, there's a heavy enough magnet, if you can see from my hand, there's a heavy enough magnet that just pops it into place. So it's not hard. It looks like those are the magnets inside. Pops in. Ready to go. Knowing how the game is going to operate, I am going to be popping in Mario Kart World. I am not going to be playing said game today, but I'm probably going to allow it to do its update. Start the download. I'm gonna put the wheel. So these are all of my fun added accessories. And then these were the games that I bought. System is updating. It's doing its fun thing. Pop these back on. I'm not someone who likes to misplace things. Pro controller, a plus. We'll play with it a different day when we do the dock. Wheel controllers, pretty great. Not complaining. The attachments, I do appreciate that they're protecting the top to prevent them from scratching, because that is a pretty cool, well sleek design joy piece. Mod options, download first. Considering everything that is being downloaded, we're gonna download Mario Kart. I want it to have some priority. I will be playing the game at a later date as specified. Today is not the day I will do that. Checked. Store my game for later. Mario Kart World. And maybe Guardians was this. I think Room Factor is under Guardians, and I think that's why there was that space. So let's move it back until I can fully confirm that that is the case. Let's pop this guy in. Bravely Default would be located in here. Sounds like my laundry's done running. So as soon as we are done with this video, I get to go handle my laundry. Disappointed that the update didn't work. Very happy about the new stuff coming. Alright, well, you guys are free to go. You don't have to stay any longer for my live stream. We essentially got to the core of what we were doing. We opened up all my fun accessories, and right now downloading games is just going to take all day since I spent a week to be it on my OLED. Now I get to do it for endless time on my new one. So the OLED is still important. The OLED is going to be where all of my streaming data is going to be. So anything that I'm going to do personally is going to be on here. So it's going to be wonderful. There's going to be eventually the ability for me to have it on both systems. So I will figure that out, but it's going to take some time figuring that out. So hopefully I'll catch you all next time. Thank you for staying. Thank you for making it this far, and looking forward to having some more streams come out. I had a lot of personal stuff go on in the last 3 weeks. Kind of put a pause in everything, made modifications to my life, and now I'm going to resume everything. So just to give you guys a concept, I had a friend pass away unexpectedly. I am in search for a new roommate. I ended things with my current romantic partner. He and I were not seeing eye to eye on certain things, and it became more evident that the longer I waited for something to get better, the more dissatisfied I was with who he was, his performance, and inability to stay focused. We all have past, we all have issues, we all have baggage. I will never judge you if you put your baggage out on the table in the beginning. You have a problem, I understand. But manipulating and lying about what said baggage is, how it affects you, and expecting your partner not to notice creates tension. Tension can create arguments and disagreements, and your inability or lack of ability to handle conflict is something that I was not expecting him to do. He bragged about taking responsibility and being there for his family and for people he cared about, when at the end of the day, he wasn't doing what he said he would do. So I am single. I am actively dating different people, or at least in the conversation stage of dating said people. I have gone out on dates. People think I'm an easy catch until they meet me, and then I don't hear back. So getting ghosted is not something I'm proud of, but it happens more often than it should. As it comes to my streaming, I put in my 2 weeks for my primary job at a bookstore. The lack of hours available with my medical accommodation and the stress I am getting and pressure I am getting from working with my boss has made me come to the conclusion that I am better served elsewhere. So I have made the decision on last week, found a new job. I'm going to be working at Wawa right down the street from my house. If any of you know that I work at GameStop, Wawa and GameStop are neighbors. Same complex. It's about 5-10 minute walk. It's going to be great. Get my exercise in every day. Park my car at one location, walk to the other. It's going to be great. I'll be able to have an actual day off every week and other things as well.